Quaid Azam, Part 23. But they hesitated by and large to accept the proselytized, for they had been drawn mostly from the poor. For the Ashraf, these converts had little to do with their world. These were the musallas, the hewers of the wood, and the fetchers of the water. They were the attraps. By the 18th century, the very basis on which Perso-Islamic culture rested in India began to weaken, and to do so very rapidly. By the beginning of the 19th century, Muslim power had been reduced to Awadh. So they were reduced to Awadh, Hyderabad, northwestern borders lands, perhaps because this period also saw a flowering of Islam. The 18th and the early 19th century therefore became a period of the highest refinement of the Persianate culture in India. With this blooming also came the end. Does not an Arab saying wisely caution, once the house is built, the decline starts? Of this decline of the once great Timurid and the resultant chaos, amongst the most moving accounts is testimony of C.B. Saunders, officiating commissioner and an agent to the lieutenant governor, who, when examined by the judge advocate on Friday, 12 February 1858, during that pretense of a trial of the last Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar, testified, question, can you give the court any information as to the circumstances under which the kings of Delhi became subject and pensioners of the British government in India? Answer. Shah Alam, emperor of Delhi, after having his eyes put out and having suffered every indignity from the hands of Ghulam Qadir, fell into the hands of Marhatas in the year 1788. The emperor, although vested with the nominal authority over the city of Delhi, was kept in confinement more or less rigorous until the year 1803, when General Lake, having seized Aligarh, marched with British troops against Delhi. The Marhatas army drawn Patpara Ganj, 6 miles from Delhi, was attacked by General Lake and utterly routed, the city and the fort having been evacuated by the Marhatas. The Emperor Shah Alam sent a message to General Lake applying for the protection of the British authorities, and on 14 September 1803, the date since rendered more memorable by the successful assault in 1857. The British troops entered Delhi. From that time, the kings of Delhi have become pensioned subjects of the British government and have exchanged a state of rigorous confinement in which they were held by the Mahrattas to one of the more lenient restraint under the British rule. The pensioners succeeded to titular sovereignty of Delhi. In 1837, he had no power whatever beyond the prisoners of his own palace. He had the power of conferring titles and dresses of honors upon his own immediate retainers, but was prohibited from exercising that power on any others. He and the heir apparent alone were exempted from the jurisdiction of the company's local courts, but were under the orders of the supreme government. And it continues. Well, the question goes along with the code, and I'll be providing the same in my next video. There are two more questions to be answered.